So in a speech earlier today at the Kennedy Center, Donald Trump said to House Republicans that he's worried if they lose the midterms that he's going to get impeached for a third time. Yeah, no shit, bro. I mean, obviously, Republicans know that. That's why they're desperate to gerrymander in Texas and elsewhere. I do think it's worth noting that Republican attempts to gerrymander in some states have failed, including Indiana. And word on the street is that Mike Pence had a hand in making sure that that did not happen. And then, like a week later, Mike Pence's think tank pinched more than a dozen employees from the Heritage Center. So, it's a little bit of trouble in Republican paradise. To be accurate, Donald Trump's exact words were, "You got to win the midterms, because if we don't win the midterms, it's going to be, they'll find a reason to impeach me. I'll get impeached." Donald Trump has already been impeached twice. He's committed more than 24 impeachable offenses in the last year. And like, Peepaw, you gave a speech that just encouraged people to get out and vote for Democrats and against Republicans. So maybe more Democratic candidates need to be running on a platform of, if you elect us, we will impeach him. It doesn't necessarily get over the issue of the House can vote to impeach, the Senate probably won't get the numbers to convict and remove. We've seen 2 impeachments already. But honestly, like anything that drives Donald's blood pressure up a lot bit. I'm not saying that we're voting for Democrats out of spite. We're voting for Democrats to stop fascism. And real quick here, 2 points that attach to that fact. I don't think that voting is on its own enough to save us, but I do understand that there are several other countries where they have voted dictators out of office, and it's worked. The one that I reference most often is Chile. They organized and literally voted Pinochet out of office, and that was the end of the dictatorship. Multiple other countries have done the same, and maybe I should do a whole video on times that dictators were removed through the democratic electoral process. Well, where at least that was one major component, it also takes people organizing and being willing to enforce the election results. But the second point that I think is worth examining, I had somebody on Blue Sky the other night who was like, you want to turn the Democratic Party more progressive, you want to get out establishment corporate Democrats who are, only concerned about AIPAC and only concerned about their big crypto, whoever's funding them. They're not interested in being our elected representatives. They want to represent corporate and foreign interests. How do you get those motherfuckers out and move the Democratic Party to the left? How do you do that without risking running Democratic candidates who are too far left for the district? Right. The thing about representative government is that we are not a homogenous culture. We are a huge country with all kinds of different subcultures. And that means that our elected representatives should look really diverse. Even in the Democratic Party, they should not be all politically exactly aligned. So you're going to not be able to run some Democratic Socialist or Working Families Party or somebody with really progressive ideals in a more conservative district where you're like just hoping to sneak out a victory against a MAGA Republican. That isn't the goal, right? You don't want to run somebody who is not electable in a district where you're trying to win against a Republican. I understand why those districts might run more conservative Democratic candidates who better reflect the populace. If you want to push the party left, you look to run far more progressive Democratic candidates in the primary in solidly blue districts, like my district here in Portland, Oregon, right? Oregon District 3. Or you look at that for Senate seats where it's gonna be a Democrat who wins no matter what. That is where you have the power to push the party left without risking that seat to a MAGA Republican, right? Everything we're doing right now, we're thinking about the midterms, the primaries and the general election. We're thinking about winning really fucking big in the midterms. And I think there's 2 layers to that. There is defeating fascists, and then we have to have a Democratic Party who's actually willing to fight for us, to fight for justice, to actually do what is necessary to tenaciously defend and restore democracy. So we're playing 2 games at once, right? We're playing 2 games at once. But boy, Donald Trump just sweetened that kitty by reminding everybody, oh yeah, when Republicans lose real big, he's going to get impeached again.